One of the ugliest games in Tua Tagovailoa's career came in prime time, at home, against the one team they just cannot seem to figure out, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are now 11-1 in the last 12 games against the Dolphins, whose best chance of success was supposed to come in this matchup at home in the humid conditions. Let's go through the things that led to this Buffalo team dismantling and conquering the rapid Miami offense. Starting off with the turnover battle, which was so clearly won from the very beginning by the Bills. Tua recorded a total of 3 interceptions, one of which ended up in a pick 6, as Tagovailoa attempted to throw it away to the sidelines and avoid getting sacked. The first interception also notably occurred on the very first drive. It was deflected off of Grant DeBose and then picked off by Ingram. Fourth downs for Miami were completely shut down, with them going 1 from 5 on fourth downs, in comparison to the 1 from 1 on the Bills side. This leads to the next point of just Tua being terrible under pressure. We have seen this on multiple occasions before, where Tua is faced with a big fourth down that must be converted, and he more often than not ends up holding onto it out of fear of throwing an incompletion. All he ends up doing instead is dancing around the pocket before getting sacked. To the credit of the Bills' defense, they were able to shut off the under routes, which the Miami offense works off of. This would mean that usually slant routes would take way too long to develop, or they wouldn't at all. I think it would be a good idea for the Dolphins to seriously look for a good tight end in free agency. They're missing that all-around muscle in their routes, which can help give them easy yards and take some pressure off of their quarterback. A topic that most people will say is a problem is that new offensive line for Miami. But you're asking a lot when a quarterback struggles to get the ball out. No matter who you have on the offensive line, if you can't get a man open, they just can't hold the defensive line off forever. But I want to move on for just a moment to Josh Allen, and to give him props for the good start to the year. Going into the season, the Bills lost a lot of star power in the receiver room, especially by the name of Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis. It's undeniable the presence that Diggs has, who has gone for over 1,000 yards receiving every year after his third year in the league. So with such big pieces of the offense gone, Buffalo was expected to struggle, and for Josh Allen to be in with a huge task. It is undeniable that early on in the year, he has done little to nothing wrong to argue he hasn't lived up to his task. First round of the year, he ran the ball exceptionally well against the Cardinals, even if people argue that he shouldn't be putting his weight on the line so much, and was indeed nursing an injury in his hand during the game consequently. But he has done what is needed to get his team over the line. In this matchup, he really didn't have to, thanks to pieces such as James Cook having a day, who we will discuss later on. As long as he is sharing the ball around and most importantly, keeping ball security as he did in this game, he's going to make life easier for his defense, who had a showing today. Again, we will discuss the defense later on as well. But what really impressed me today about Allen was his ability to read the defense. On multiple blitzes, he recognized them early and found his man, especially on this blitz right here, which I want to quickly break down. Before the snap even gets away, we get a small motion which informs the offense of the man coverage given away by Ramsey. Off the snap, Allen's eyes are pointing in the right direction, scanning the field, which he finds out is very heavily guarded by corners. He also sees that edge rushers applying pressure. Instantly, he recognizes the pressure, the blitz, and turns quickly to the left side to see any other pressure when he is greeted by Kato at the corner. The main thing about a 6-man blitz is that there has to be someone open, and in this case, when that pressure is coming in the way the corner did, you throw it to where they came from, since, well, there has to be a gap. You can't just duplicate someone magically. His running back James Cook, who again had a day, was on a wheel route, which of course ran perfectly into the open space, and as you can see him instantly glancing back, ready for the pass which he knows is coming his way as soon as the corner ran past him. They connected and it was taken down as the first touchdown of the game. Moving on to something that is a real Achilles heel if you don't have it in today's game as a quarterback, and that is the run game. Tua is horrible at improvising and never learned that part of his game. This means that if routes are not getting open and the pocket is collapsing, it is more than likely that he will take the sack. Usually this happens in big play scenarios, where players such as Mahomes and Allen today and last week would carry the play on in their shoulders to ensure they try everything in their power to keep the possession going. Tua ran only twice this game, one time of which ended up in a first down, and the second time in a concussion straight into Damar Hamlin. This concussion seriously has a possibility of sidelining him for some time. He has in the past suffered with concussion protocols and hits. It does not look good for his career's longevity in the future, especially at such a young age of 26. Some people at this point are even calling for him to retire for good before it gets worse. He just received a huge new contract, so it is definitely a hard call.
And as a human that cares about the fraternity, what was your reaction to this?
First thing I did when I saw the play was I just said, oh no.
I think everyone did.
Oh no, not again. Because it seemed like every time we've seen Tua concussed has been on national television.
Yep.
Whether it was the primetime game against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, Green Bay in the primetime slide, and then tonight. And you just, again, as us players, man, we look at each other, we're brothers in a fraternity.
Yep.
And the first thing I thought about was, man, we got to have a conversation. I don't know who it is, whether it's his wife, whether, whoever it is, having a conversation with that man about your quality of life. Because this game of football, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You got so much life to live, and for me, it's just sickening to see this man. Seem like time and time again, being in that uncomfortable position.
So finally moving on to one of the players of the match, James Cook. Cook played a great game last time out against the Cardinals, going for over 70 yards, but this time he upped his level even more, scoring a total of 3 touchdowns, including that one we broke down before. The other 2 came off of a 1-yard run into the end zone, followed by an almost 50-yard run off a Miami turnover on downs. When you can rely on the run game in the way they did, it really frees up the offense to be more dynamic with the play calls. It makes it harder for the defense to know what's coming their way in comparison to when the running game is halted and you are forced to throw. For example, when the run game isn't going well, nobody's going to fall for play action. Miami, to their benefit, they were at least able to put the ball in the hands of a Chain, who was almost not cleared to play for this game. He definitely took some hits and is going to be sore after running for 90 yards and a whopping 21 carries before being taken off late in the fourth quarter, along with Hill and Waddle, who we will discuss now. Well, it has all around been a slower start to the year for these two, with only big highlight plays for them two in the first round and absolutely nothing to show for in week 2. This is of course with complete props to the Bills defense, who held Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill to only one reception each. That is insane. Hill went for 12 yards, while Waddle went for only 4. To stop these receivers in this way is incredible. Full props go out to the Bills secondary, who allowed this to happen. This should be a scary sign for the pair of receivers in Florida, as future opponents and the defensive coordinators will be scrambling to see the tape and gain the knowledge on how to stop them. For Mike McDaniels, it is up to him to do what he has done so often in the past, and that is to design plays to get his stars open, and he needs to do this quickly in order to get their season back on track and make sure this doesn't carry implications for the rest of the season.